did not invite Al to this one. I didn't get a chance.
Right. We're live, I think. So good morning. I'm trying to get all of us on the couch in. I seem to be, I don't know why I seem to be closer, but anyway, there we are. So good morning, everyone. We have a guest this morning, but first of all, let's do this again. This is my boy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've been overwhelmed by the love and the healing prayers that everybody has sent. Thank you so much. You've been wonderful. He is improving, but he's not happy right now, as you can hear. He's crying and crying. I think he doesn't like sharing the couch. Is that right? Is that right? You don't like sharing the couch? Yeah, no, you don't. No. Yeah, I might have to tell you to get off. This is to my right. Normally it's Carolyn, but actually this is Murray. Murray, say good morning to everyone.
Good morning, everybody.
And Carolyn is sitting opposite. Carolyn, say good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
All right, so we're going to have to put up with the baby if he keeps moaning and groaning and huffing and puffing. We don't even know if we've got an audience out there because we've had to completely redo this. And so we're just going to go with it. Carolyn will tell me in a minute whether we've got anybody on the show or whether we haven't. But let me, while Carolyn's doing that, let me just tell you exactly what happened, because we have had a lot of inquiries from so many people. Kachoro had his surgery on Monday, and on Monday evening he hemorrhaged massively, and there was blood all over the house. Let me say, my bathroom looked like you know, somebody had been in there with a knife carving somebody up. It looked horrible, horrific. We got him to the emergency room at a clinic in Sarasota. That clinic, if anybody lives in Sarasota and has animals, Blue Pearl Clinic is the best, the most wonderful place. And they sorted him out. And luckily, he didn't need a transfusion, but we've had to keep him very still and sedated for the last few days. I'm sorry. So I know, baby, I know. But because I've been on the sofa with him and cuddling him for the last 2 or 3 days, and he has not moved from my side, he's now a bit jealous because there's a man on my sofa, and he's the only man in my life. That's what it is. So, do we have anyone, Carolyn?
Yes, we are live. We are good.
Everybody's there. So I've been completely overwhelmed by everybody's love and generosity, and I think I might have said that already, but I'm saying it again. So thank you all of you. So let's, after that, Carolyn, shall we dive in with? Well, no, actually, Murray, can you tell us a little bit about who are you? I don't even know who he is. It's the first time I've met him. And right, I've never met you before. I don't think I've ever spoken to you before. No, right? And you know, I'm always saying to people, come and sit on the sofa. Anybody can come. So he did. He said, where did you come from?
I didn't believe her.
You didn't?
No. I came from North Bay, Ontario, Canada, and I read your book, a couple of your books actually, a lot of years ago, be over 20 years ago, and I just thought it would be.
Am I that old? Oh gosh.
I don't know.
We won't tell. He said to me, can I ask you a personal question? I said, sure, go ahead. I forgot to tell him, it doesn't mean just because you asked doesn't mean I'm not going to answer. He said, well, how old are you now? I said, not answering that one. But if you read my books, you will know. You'll work it out anyway.
Yes, that's true. I can figure it out.
Good.
Based on the literature.
So you read the books, and then. So why don't you tell us a little bit of, I mean, what do you do? Who are you? Who the heck is this man? Who is Murray? Where has he been?
Well, I was born in Blue Mountain, near Collingwood, Ontario, a small community, rural, very, very small town. And I was raised with nine brothers. There were 9 of us.
Wow.
And,
wow. I thought mine was a big family. There were 6 of us.
So I'm a teacher I was a teacher. I'm a retired teacher now. I coached for 27 years, cross country and track and field. I'm into music, bluegrass music. I play mandolin. In barbershop, I sing barbershop harmony. And that's basically my life. We travel. I'm married. I have 3 kids, and
several grandchildren.
I've got 6 grandchildren. So life is really good. I've been retired for about 11 years.
And what do? You come here for a few months. You come to Florida for a few months in the wintertime, because
Yes.
nobody wants to be in Ontario, Canada in the winter, except those people who love to ski or do snow sports,
That's
right?
That's right.
Ice
In
oh gosh, ice fishing, is that right?
Yeah.
All right. And so I think you emailed the office and said, was I doing any events?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so on, and we weren't, but we said, hey, but you can always come and sit on the sofa. He did not know what that meant, but he does now.
Finding out.
And so he came early. I mean, really, we give you a time,
never
stick
know.
to it. And it was very lucky, I think, in a way that you came early. Well, it's lucky.
It's lucky for me.
Well, would you like to tell us why? Murray, tell us what happened. I always love this part because I never know what people are actually going to say. But Murray came early and he sat on the sofa, and I had said to Carolyn beforehand, I hope he's not going to be disappointed when I don't do anything for him.
So my little sister contacted Rosemary, and I lost her back a few months ago, and so she's already been talking to us, which is pretty amazing for me.
Well, he actually said something that was inaccurate.
I did.
You did? You said, my sister passed.
Peaceful.
And then he started to say peacefully. Tried to stop him, but it was too late. But it was actually the best thing, because then his sister, who was standing by his side, who I'd already seen, yes, who is still standing by his side, said, no, I didn't. So I said, okay then, we've got a little argument going here. So I told you, right? She's saying, no, she didn't pass peacefully at all. At the very end, she went very peacefully, which is a whole different thing. But shush. But when you say to someone, they pass peacefully, there's an impression that they passed unexpectedly in their sleep. That sort of gives that impression, I think, which is not what happened to your sister at all. But she's been chatting away, and poor Murray, his sister's a very forceful lady. She's lovely, very strong personality and very upbeat, right?
Oh, yes.
So she just kept bombarding him, and then it was time for the show. Are you still a bit bewildered?
A little bit.
Because it was a bit unexpected.
This is a little new.
So anyway, we're going to ask some questions, and I know that.
We actually have Laurie, who was born in North Bay, Ontario.
Really?
Yes.
Hi, Laurie.
Laurie's one of our very frequent visitors here. Yeah, so
Wow.
she's kind of blown away.
She's actually doing our online course,
Yes.
which is lovely. She's doing very well. When she learns to do what she's told, she'll be doing even better. I have to speak to you later, Laurie. You're going to really look forward to that, aren't you?
She says right now she's in Calabogie, Ontario.
Yep. Know where that is?
That's a cute name.
Near Ottawa.
Really? Calabogie, what a funny name.
Not too close to Ottawa.
Yeah, we've got people from Oklahoma, from Toronto. They're all over the world today.
Okay. All right. So why don't we? Sorry, I've just got to itch myself. I'm very sorry about the noise from the puppy. There's not a lot we can do about it, and it's just one of those things, because he is, even though he doesn't look sick, he's hyped up on pain meds and all sorts of antibiotics and all sorts of things. And this is his first day of actually being up and about and lively, because he's been totally out of it.
Everybody's thrilled to see him.
And well, I thought we'd have him on the sofa because I know that everybody wants to see him. But this crying and whining is not at all like him. So he looks great, but he's not 100%. So keep that healing coming. But we're thrilled he's sort of almost back to normal. Right.
Albertine has a question. If you wanted to
let's
take
go.
questions.
Come on then, right? Why don't you have him, Murray? Murray's got the dog. Albertine, let's have Albertine's question, shall we?
If they make a movie of your life, who plays the leading role as Rosemary and Grey Eagle?
I think Susan Sarandon would play a really great Rosemary, don't you?
Yes, I like her.
She's a great actress, and I think she believes in this stuff too. So I think she would be great in the role. Her daughter could play my daughter, because I know her daughter's an actress too. And who would play Grey Eagle? I don't know. They'd have to find some gorgeous hunk of a guy to do that. So I don't know. No idea. I'll have to think on that. Grey Eagle is saying somebody with fabulous eyes, because I always tell everybody what fabulous eyes he's got, and he's laughing. So I'm not sure about that. I have to think about it. Dark and swarthy and handsome.
Laurie's asking for your last name. I think she thinks she knows you. She wants to know which high school you went to in North Bay. You don't have to answer that.
I taught at Chippewa.
Oh, okay.
There you are
go.
then.
Starlight asks, hi, Rosemary and Grey Eagle.
Good morning, Starlight.
Please, I really need your help again. My mom died last year, and you kindly answered me. I changed my name from Stara. Please, can you ask Grey Eagle if my mom was crossed?
I think we did this once before.
I'm not sure.
But
different question.
Starlight, look at me. I'm looking at you, wherever you are in the world. There, she's fine. Stop worrying. She's fine. I hope that helps. I think we talked about this a little bit before, but perhaps I didn't make myself quite clear enough. She's fine. I promise.
Twiggy Leaf.
Good morning, Twiggy Leaf.
Has Rosemary meditated with dual tones? What's your opinion on meditating with dual tones? Would you recommend it to her students?
I wouldn't. And our students tonight, we are actually the first of our lessons is meditation, and there is an art to meditation. So many people think they're meditating when in fact they're sitting there and they're contemplating. There is a real art to meditation, and my students are learning that. It's, as I've said, it's our first lesson. I think people should be really, really careful how and when they meditate and the way that they meditate, and to do it gently, carefully, and take your time with it. Let's have another question.
All right, Donald.
Good morning, Donald.
He is here from Oklahoma, and he is asking if...
You know, every time somebody says Oklahoma to me, I had a lady come visit me the other day for a consultation, and she said, I'm from Oklahoma, and I just want to burst into song because I love that. Do you remember that movie? Yeah. Oh, gosh, it was... Anyway, great. Sorry, Donald. Go ahead. You probably get that all the time, I bet.
Donald is asking how his mother is. She's passed.
According to Grey Eagle, she's really fine. Again, I'm going to say stop worrying. She's fine.
Margareta.
And before we get to Margareta, I know that Murray wants to ask a question. Which one do you want him to just give us? Because I know you want to read them, Murray.
I think it was question number 3.
Okay. Is there a set amount of time that somebody stays on this side? A friend of mine thinks that there's a set amount of time that the soul or spirit or whatever stays on the side before they pass on, so they can ask us questions or ask, I don't know, maybe contact us or whatever.
So you're asking when we die? do we still stay around on this earth plane? Do we hang around here
Yes, yes.
so that we can figure out what's going on or ask questions? I don't know of whom we would ask the questions.
Maybe get some peace of mind before we
Right.
cross over.
There are people who, it's a good question actually, there are people who choose to stay around, but they are in the minority. Cachorro, stop now, stop, that's enough. They're in the minority, and those people are generally people who are struggling for one reason or another with a situation, and they either, there's a little girl, I've told this story before on this show. I had a little girl who was in a lung machine for most of her life, and when she passed, she refused to go anywhere without a mummy. I'm not going until my mummy goes with me. That's it. And we had to help her over. That's called rescue work.
Wow,
so
yeah.
we helped her over with that situation. But 99.9% of the time we go, our angels come for us, they lift us and they take us to the light. Now, just because we go to the light does not mean that we can't see everything that's going on here, as your sister obviously was able to give you an insight into this morning. Just because we've passed and we've gone to God, you call it heaven or nirvana or whatever you want to call it, wherever that place is that you want to name it, just because we're there does not mean that we can't address the situations that we left behind, that we can't go visit with our families. We go visit, as your sister visited with you this morning. She can see what you're all up to. She's reassured, but it's nice that when they come to visit with us, you're reassured. So you must be thrilled to bits that your sister not only has survived and has gone to heaven or whatever, that she's able to come and talk to you and tell you, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay. And to send a message to the family, to the boys. You've got siblings and then your boys. We heard all about it this morning. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I hope it does.
Yes, it does.
Okay. Let's have another question from Minerva, did you say? Good morning.
Let's see. Nope, it was
something like that, wasn't it?
Lisa has a question. No, Margareta had a question. Let me back up to her.
No. Kachura,
Shall I
come.
get him?
Sorry, everybody.
Let me get him.
I want him away from there.
Come on, Kachura.
Sorry. It's just one of those things. Oh, if he's on the floor over there, leave him. Leave him, then he's fine. Yeah, he's all right. Just leave. Sorry.
Okay, Margaret.
It's just, you came at one of those times, Murray. Just one of those times. Inch up here a bit, so we've got you in the field of the camera. Say that again.
Margareta asks.
Margareta, sorry.
Can you explain what part of the ego of our host bodies crosses over besides the love connection to those left behind?
I'm not quite sure what she's asking, but I'm going to answer the best. I'm going to answer the best I can. We have this physical body, as you know, we all see it, we know it. If we cut our finger almost off, that's why I did the other. We feel it. We feel the pain of the physical body, but we also have what is known as the etheric body, the etheric or spirit body, which is the same shape, the same size as the physical body, which explains why, you know, if somebody has a leg removed, they can still feel the leg, or if they have an arm removed, they can still feel the arm, etc. So the etheric body, the spirit body, is the same shape, the same size, and houses the soul. And it is this that we travel with. And this is why when we see, let's say, ghosts, we see them often as people. We'll see them just as we remembered them, with arms and legs and so on and so forth. I can remember a medium I saw on TV once saying that people in the spirit world don't have legs, and it was a nightmare for me for months after that, because every time I spoke to someone in the spirit world, they'd show me their legs, you know, and they make jokes about it. So I think that's what you might mean. So we take with us the etheric or the spirit body, which is the same shape, the same size, so on and so forth, as our physical body, and it is that we take with us, and so on. Hope that helps. Next question.
Let's see.
If you think of a question, Murray, off the top of your head, I know you've got some written down, but if you think of it, another one, don't ask me how long I've been doing this, how did I get into it, because you can read that in those books.
Right.
They're the standard questions.
Okay, but something related to the topic.
Yeah, whatever you want. I don't care, just out of the blue. And if I don't want to answer it, you'll know, won't you? Because he said, how old are you? I said, I'm not telling you that. We can work it out. But anyway, if you ask, and anybody out there, if you've got a question that you want to ask, just because you ask it doesn't mean that I have to answer it, but I'll do my best. Right, so
Twiggy Leaf would like to know, could you talk about mantras like I will lift my face to the sun?
yes, my mantra is I will, okay, I'll put the emphasis on the words that I use as power words, then I'll explain that. I will, 2 power words, I and will, lift my face to the sun, and all good things will come to me. So that's my mantra. I will, or I shall. Can is a power word. Can't is a power word. You keep saying can't enough times, then you won't, because, so power words can be positive or they can be negative. A mantra is a sequence of words of power. And those words have to have in them, whatever that sentence is, or those 2 sentences that are your mantra, whatever those sentences are, must contain at least 1 power word. I will, 2 power words, lift my face to the sun, and all good things will come to me, power word. So you can have negative words, you can have positive words, but when you say your mantra, a sequence of words of power, you repeat it 10 times over, and then 3 times a day. So a mantra is a sequence of words of power repeated 10 times over, 3 times a day. Some people might call it a form of brainwashing, because I suppose it is a bit of a brainwashing, but it actually, what it does is it gives you the power and it gives you the incentive to lift your face to the sun. You can, that's my mantra. You find your own mantra. It can be anything at all. It can be, I'm trying to think of one. I will be positive and I will strive to be happy. I will be positive. Positive is a power word. And I will, again, power word, strive to be happy. So you can, again, whatever you want in your mantra, whatever drives you to be more positive and to be more determined. And a mantra is that thing that we can fall back on. That even in the difficulty with a mantra is that even in your darkest and most miserable days, you have to say it. Otherwise, it's not going to work for you. And there are many times in the past when I've been driving to the healing center, or I've been, where I've been going to visit a patient, and I've been tears streaming down my face because of one thing or another, because, life has not always been good to me, as it has not always been good to most of us. And I've been driving, crying and gritting my teeth saying, I will lift my face to the sun. Even in your darkest, most dire moment, that is when you need your mantra the most, because it forces you into becoming more positive. It forces you to acknowledge that you have the power to get over whatever problem, whatever situation that you're. And no, baby. Excuse me. Sorry. This is one of those, when you play this back, you're going to think, oh my goodness, she's all over the place. We're not usually this disorganized, but it is one of those times. Sorry. So.
I'm actually amazed how you can concentrate.
So I'm going to move him in a minute or do something with him in a minute. So anyway, so let's, Murray, do you have a question at all?
I have something that's kind of related to that.
Go for it.
When when I turned 50, I compete in cross country running, and when I would turn 50, there was a guy that was beating me all year, and I had this sort of mantra that
Don't
was
you hate that?
going over and
Oh,
over
really?
in my brain.
Can you remember it?
Well, it wasn't a mantra; it was a
Just-
vision of the race.
Oh,
The vision of the
good.
race.
Yeah.
And the night before, I had a dream of exactly how the race was going to go, and the next day it went exactly as I dreamed it.
Oh, wow.
Exactly as I dreamed it. So
Wow.
maybe I've just played it over in my mind enough times that
No, because I think we can create the right energy with our thoughts, because the power of thought is the most amazing thing. And little tiny thoughts go out into the universe, again, negative or positive. They go out to the universe, and you know what happens? It has that boomerang effect. It goes out into the universe, and it gathers and it gathers and it gathers positivity, positive energy. Like attracts like. If you're sending out negative thoughts, it attracts negativity. But at some point, those thoughts come back to you, they return to you, and they bring with it all the negativity or all the positivity that you've put out there. So you can actually create and change energy to make it work for you. And so this is what you were doing. Isn't that cool? That's a cool idea. But it happens to be true. You know of people who are continually negative, and their lives just don't get any better, and they're waiting for their life to get better, but it's never going to get better because they're sending out that negativity, and like attracts like, and it's gathering negativity which comes back. The same as harmful thoughts or damaging thoughts. You know, you're wishing someone not well, you're wishing something awful happened to somebody. Be careful, because that energy goes out into the universe. It gathers like energy, and at some point it will return to you because it's your energy. It belongs to you. It will return to you. And so, you know, when things start to happen to you, you think, why is this happening to me? What is the reason for it? You really need to focus and take a look at the thoughts that you have, because those thoughts can determine such negativity and such negative energy that comes around you. You also, on that note, also gather to you negative friends if you're a negative person. And if you are a positive person, you gather positive people towards you. And you know what I'm saying? So it's always like attracts like. When the race went, did you win the race? Did you do well in the race?
yes, my goal was to beat this one person that had beat me all year, of course, and yes, went just as I visualized it, and I didn't when I was second, and he was third.
Brilliant. Did you get a medal?
Of course.
Whoa, we've got a medal winner
Now,
here.
if you could tell me what to do with all those medals, that would be valuable. That would be great.
Well, you need to put them all in a book or something, or a case. My father had his army medals, a little bit different. He had all of his army medals, and I always wanted to put them in a case, and I talked to my father about getting them in a case. Unfortunately, he died before that happened, but my brother then actually put them in a case. And they're good for the children, for the grandchildren, and all of that. I mean, it's good for your children, your grandchildren, to see who you are and what you're doing. I mean, my grandson, when my grandson was, he was like 2 or 3, and I was at his house, and his mum and dad were on the computer, and we're going through. I was trying to find a particular show that I'd done, and he's just this little tiny thing. So, and I'm sort of standing to the side, and he's sitting on his mum's lap on the chair, and they're going through the computer, and they click on it to see if it's the show I want. And my grandson, he's looking at the screen, and then he turns slowly and looks at me, and then he turns back to the screen and he looks at the screen, then he turns slowly back and he looks at me, and this big grin comes on his face because he knows it's me. But how am I on the TV and standing next to his chair? And it's an amazing thing because you do. I mean, I would urge anybody who has children or grandchildren, make your own little YouTube show. Go play ukulele on the YouTube, go on the YouTube so that, when those kids are older, they, oh, look, there's grandpa playing his ukulele. It's just a fun thing to have. And one of the reasons that I made the cookbook was because I just want to leave a little of myself behind for my child and my grandchild. Let's stop muttering. I'm blathering on here. That's a great experience. Anything else you want to share, just tell us. Carolyn, yes?
Dean had a question.
Good morning, Dean.
So does the etheric body have arms and legs, even if a person is born without them?
Yes.
And Lori asked, and do we get parts back we've lost here?
Right, Lori, look, the parts we lose are physical. Here's the deal. If you're in a traumatic accident and you lose your legs or you lose a limb, or even if you're not born with a particular part of your body that most of us have, the etheric body is, number one, indestructible. Number two, it's whole and complete. So it is the spirit body. It's you can't destroy it no matter what. No surgeon can come and remove it. We don't want to retrieve the parts that we've left because they are physical. They're no use to us in the spirit world. They're dumped. They're gone. That's it. But our etheric body, is whole and beautiful and as it should be. There.
Mary has a question.
Good morning, Mary.
I'm slowly accepting/adapting to the change that is since my parents passed away. Do they have any information or advice for myself or my siblings? Thank you.
Mary, they might do, but we've got a poorly dog here at the moment and he's pacing up and down. And so I'm going to say, I'm sure that they send their love. And in fact, I have Gregor putting his hand on my shoulder. So they do send their love. If you need to know more, you probably need to have a consultation if you're concerned. So email me rosemary@rosemaryalaltea.com or find an event to come to, that sort of thing.
Martha has a question. Do spirits keep learning on the other side?
I hope so. Oh, did that shock you?
That's a good one.
Did that shock you?
Yes.
Of course, because we don't stop learning. We come here to learn, to grow, and wherever it is we travel to and whatever we decide to do, once we return home, we're still learning and we're still growing. We're still feeding our soul. That's the way to feed our soul. So yes. You want to make a comment on that?
I think that's amazing. That's really neat. To even think that that's going to happen once you pass, that's enlightening.
Well, anybody out there who thinks that they're going to sit on a cloud and play their ukulele or their harp, or their harp, or whatever it is that you envision that you're going to be doing, hanging out there, and just not, you think it's going to be restful. Think again, because there are too many things to do, too many people to see, too many exciting things to learn, and we're always searching for that learning experience.
So get it done now.
Try, yeah, good job, yeah. So try and get what you need to do done, but you're never done because there's always something new, right? You're always you're a teacher. Didn't you teach that to your children?
I'm not sure.
Well,
yes.
I try to teach my students that, in fact, I've said this week's to my online students so many times now. It's not about the goal. It's not you start to climb a mountain, and that's life, right? It's the mountain. We start to climb the mountain. If we only focus on getting to the top, we're going to miss every beautiful thing that's happening on that mountain around us. We're going to miss the flowers that grow on the side of the mountain. We're going to miss all the stuff that goes on, all the life and all the beauty and all the energy that is surrounding the mountain. It is much more important. The journey is much more important than the goal. After that wise and wonderful wisdom, let's have another question, shall we?
I just have to add something to that because yesterday my daughter and I went for a walk, and I find that she's 14 and a half. So we were walking and she goes, "Oh, wait, Mom, look." And I, thought she was going to see a big eagle or something, a big bird. And I said, "What?" And she goes, "Did you see that little bitty lizard right there?" And so I find it wonderful that
she's noticing even the small things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It is all about the journey, not the goal. Don't be in a rush to reach your goal. The journey is the most important thing. Let's have another
Sharon
question.
has a question.
Good morning, Sharon.
This is regarding the mantras. Can you say this encouragement for another person just to help them?
No. You can send prayers for another person, but a mantra is, if you're going to call it a mantra is a very, very personal thing. It is for you to use for your own self, to build your own energy, to build your own confidence, to give you the confidence to do whatever it is that you want to do. And it's all about being, mantras are all about sort of finding those words of power, those power words: shall, can, will, do. Then they're the positives, and there are many more of them. Can't, won't, shan't, not, going to, all those negatives, they're just as powerful. And I'll say it again so people can understand. When you use power words, we don't even know we're using them, right? Very often, if we're not attaching them to a mantra. There are people who say, "I'm going to do this, and I'm going to whatever it takes, I'm going to do it." That's a powerful statement, and it's a statement that can drive you. And if you imagine, keep repeating that over and over and over 10 times, 3 times a day, that's a powerful statement that can drive you forward and make, and you will achieve whatever that is you're thinking of achieving. You will achieve it. But if you say, "I'm not going to do this, it won't happen, it's never going to happen, and nobody likes me, nobody loves me," nobody's going to. I can tell you now. If you are the person who's, "Nobody loves me, nobody cares about me," you're right. Well, you're right. So you need to get a grip and think positively. You didn't expect this, did you, Murray?
No.
Did you expect me to be this down to earth?
I didn't know what to expect.
Okay, I will ask you for your opinion of this in a minute. Your
Okay.
opinion of me. And we had a great thing. What was it? It was on. We have an Everything Is Attitude show on Friday nights.
Oh.
It's brilliant, actually. It's a brilliant show. 6 o'clock Standard Eastern Time every Friday night with my friend Al. And people were asking questions, and somebody said, "Well, what if you don't have a Rosemary?" Because meaning, what if you don't have someone like me who can talk to your sister?
Right.
Right?
Okay.
What if you don't have a Rosemary? And I started laughing, and I said, "Well, now give me the definition of a rosemary. If rosemary was in the dictionary, what would the meaning be?" Well, we had some laughs, so I might ask you that as well. I think it's all right. It's all right. So anyway, let's get back to it.
Teresa has a question.
Good morning, Teresa. You can have another question, by the way, if you want one.
Okay.
You're on the sofa, so enjoy yourself.
Oh, okay.
Take this moment and run with it. Yes.
Do spirits materialize on Earth, and does it take extra energy?
Well, Teresa, that's a great question. First of all, you'll never hear me call them spirits. Right, Carolyn?
That's correct.
They are people. So, and they have what you might see as a physical body. It is the etheric body, same shape, same size, etc. Do they materialize? I see them all the time. I've been talking to Mary's sister this morning. So the answer to that is yes, they do. What was the second part of the question?
Does it take extra energy?
For them or for me?
For them, I believe,
them,
to materialize.
No. But I do know that it's very frustrating because there are so many of our loved ones in the spirit world who stand and watch us, sit on the sofa with us. Your sister's sitting on the sofa with us, watching the football game or participating in what we're doing. And we don't see them or we don't feel them around us. Can you imagine how frustrated that is? It's sort of a little bit, I liken it to somebody standing behind a plate glass window looking in and banging, banging, banging on the window, hey, I'm here, notice me. And we don't, because we're not looking, or we don't know how to look. Part of the online course is to enable people to learn to look, to discover, to see those in the spirit world. And I always I liken myself to that vandal who goes around breaking windows, because the window isn't really even there for me, but I think I'm breaking that window and I'm letting you in. So for me, that they're always there. Does it take them extra energy? No, I don't think so. For some of us who want to learn to see, it might take us knowing the use of the energy that we have, or learning to use our energy in a positive way that will help those in the spirit world to connect with us.
Valerie has a two-part question. One is, my grandma spoke Spanish. Is one able to communicate with her if they don't speak Spanish?
Yes. Now you'll like this one.
That's interesting.
Are you interested in this show? You maybe watch it when you go.
Oh, probably.
One of these days, you maybe tune into the YouTube show. It's every
With my
Thursday
whole
morning.
family,
Just so you know, it's every Thursday morning. It is a universal language. One of the most difficult languages. A few years ago, I had an Australian client. He came to see me, and then after his consultation, he said to me that he got a Japanese friend who would dearly like to come. What he failed to tell me was that the Japanese friend didn't speak English. And so the people in the spirit world who were his family spoke my language, because it's a universal language. It's a way of us speaking. It's sort of mind to mind and talking mind to mind. So there is no language barrier there. But trying to get it across to this client I had sitting in front of me with his Australian friend, who told me, yeah, I can interpret for him. And the Australian friend's way of interpreting, do you get all of this? It's a bit complicated. Yeah. The way the Australian thought to interpret for the young Chinese man who was sitting in my study was to just keep shouting in a loud voice what I just said. You know how when you try and talk to somebody who's deaf and you think that if you shout loud enough they'll hear you? Doesn't work, does it? But after 5 hours, we actually figured it out. Can you imagine 5 hours?
5 hours.
Took me 5 hours, but it was actually worth it at the end of the day, because this young man finally understood it all. I have no idea how. My connection with the spirit world was perfectly fine. My connection with the boy on the couch who couldn't speak English and I could not speak Japanese was not so fine. Next question. Do you have a question? You're going to dive in anytime?
So how did the Chinese person and you,
Japanese person,
Japanese person, how did you communicate with him then? Like, you finally worked it out. Like you could communicate.
I took a pad and a pen and I drew pictures.
Oh, perfect.
Pictures tell 1,000 words. The picture's worth 1,000 words. He could understand odd words, regular words, because he was in England. He was a student, so he could understand words. So he knew enough words so that if I could point to mother and I'd draw a picture of a lady and a mother. And as I said, it took 5 hours. So, but you know, we can get there. We get there. Positive thinking.
Valerie had a second question on that.
Yes, Valerie.
How old of a spirit can one communicate with?
Oh, well, Gregor talks to me all the time and he's getting up there. Like, as am I. Yes, I know, you've worked it out. As am I. I'm getting up there too.
Sorry. Nettie has a question.
Good morning, Nettie.
So do you ever get sick in the spirit world?
You can get sick of, that's a really good question, Nettie, actually. You can get sick of heart. You can, get sick of mind. You can be sick with worry for your loved ones who are on this side. Even though you know that they're going to be all right. It's like, I knew that Kachura was not going to die, but I've been worried just the same. That's who we are, isn't it? That's our human nature. But on a physical level, no. Remember what I said, Nettie? The etheric body is indestructible.
We've got a couple of people who are asking about their parents and loved ones. Are they happy? Please email the office at rosemary@rosemaryaltea.com for those questions.
Yeah, we're you know, I know I've just been chatting up a storm with who are you, Murray's, and I did remember, with Murray's sister, and it was very positive, but she was a very positive person. But I have one eye on the puppy, so just so you know, it's you know, as much as I would want to do it, today is not necessarily a good day for that. But if you keep watching, keep asking, you just never know, do you? What will happen? Murray did not expect anything. He thought he was going to come in with a hand and have a handshake and say, "Nice to meet you and see you," didn't you?
Yep. I thought he was going to be sitting over there asking questions around through this way.
No. And here you are on camera. Are you enjoying it?
Yes, yeah.
Good.
Oh, absolutely.
That was very hesitant. Yes. It was
It
like,
was?
I sort of am, I think.
I did call her this morning with everything that's been going on this week to say, are you sure you want to guest today? So she said yes.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I said yes. It must have been your sister.
Must have been.
She's like, are you kidding? Let's have another question, shall
George
we?
wrote in.
Good morning, George.
Hi, Rosemary. I have one or more negative spirits around me and in my home. They make things move off of shelves, etc. I need it or them to be removed, but all my efforts have failed thus far. Can you help or advise me?
I can help you if you email us and tell us about this. I always say we'll send the big guns out, meaning Alice, Grey Eagle, to go help, and we'll sort it out for you. Don't worry. We may have one or two suggestions that you might do. If you've not tried so far, you might want to get someone in to use sage in the house to cleanse with sage, or you can say, but you told me, you just said you've tried a lot of things. So if you email us, we'll see what we can do. Rosemary@rosemaryaltea.com. And we don't charge for these things. So just so you know, if you're worried, well, don't want to call because she's going to charge me a fortune. We actually don't charge you. So see how nice we are in this office. Right, next question. Wait till Murray gets the bill for sitting on this sofa.
I've got one.
Oh yeah, go.
Okay. Is there like a divine power that sort of, like, everybody on this earth probably has a function, or we're on here for a reason, and I think that's probably controlled by a divine power. Do you concur with that? Do you?
Yeah,
think
I don't think there are any accidents. I think that there are no coincidences. I think we're here to fulfill a role. We're here to learn and to grow and to fulfill whatever that role might be. And some of us manage to fulfill it, and some of us don't listen and don't want to know, or we bury our head in the sand. But there is a divine force, a universal energy that guides and steers us and helps us in the times when we need them the most. That's what you're asking, I think?
Yes, and how much can we control that? Like, in other words, if we're like, are we put here to do something, or can we sort of work with it and see what we're good at and what we're able to help? And
there's some things that we have choices about, and there are some things that we do not have choices about. But even the things that we don't have choices about, we still have a choice in our attitude, which is why we do the Everything is Attitude show on Friday nights, because our attitude, if something happens to us, or let's say we're given the opportunity to teach, right?
Okay.
And it's inevitable that we teach as you taught.
right.
What is not inevitable is the way you taught, or the attitude that you take towards your students, or the amount of energy that you put into it.
Exactly.
You're perhaps born to be a doctor or a medium. And you fulfill that role, you attain that because that's where you're meant to be. But the choice comes in how much time, energy, input, how much are you going to give to that role? How important will it be to you? And that is what we have choices about. We have choices about our attitude all the way through. So we can teach, but do we get the most out of it? Do we give the most? Do we give the most for our students? All those sorts of things, you know. So do you understand what I'm saying? That makes sense to you, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Do you want to comment on that?
I just wanted to say that you have a positiveness about you. So it's almost like you're in a divine position to help people with this, and it must be quite a responsibility.
It is.
Yeah.
One of the very first things I learned was that for someone like me, what you say to people can change their lives. You can break someone's heart, or you can give them hope and joy. You have a choice of the way that you do your work. And it's sometimes very maddening for me. It's upsetting for me when people are not discerning enough and they go to someone who claims to have a gift, the gift of sight, but they don't. I know it's hard because how do you know when, you know, if this person's real or not? Well, you do some research and you check them out and you find out what other people say. And when you go to see someone like me, you always go with some skepticism. You know, you can't just believe it just because somebody says so to you. But so many people out there with extremely good intentions, and we all know that the road to hell is paved with good intentions, don't we? With extremely good intentions, will say just a small thing to someone that can really devastate them. So the responsibility of what I do is huge. And what I try to do is to always, 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 even in the most dire circumstances, always find a way to give that person some hope. Because even though we think hope is gone, those of us who have suffered, we think at times hope is gone. That's the end. Hope, you can't snuff it out entirely, you know. There's still that little flame in there. It just takes one word, or one word from somebody in the spirit world, or just one small action of love to rekindle that hope in that person. And this is why I think Grey Eagle says all the time, when he talks about our world, your world needs gentleness. And our world needs gentleness and it needs kindness. I found that at this clinic, there were two ladies there. There was a doctor and a receptionist. It was midnight. We didn't leave there until 5 in the morning, and those two people could not have been kinder or more gentle. Not just to my puppy, because that was I wouldn't care if they were not to me, as long as they were to the puppy, but they were to me as well. And it just makes one huge, huge difference, especially to people who feel that hope is lost. So yes, it is. It's a massive responsibility.
Absolutely.
And you have to be aware of it all the time. And I like to think that I am.
I think you are.
Well, we you know,
based on what I've read and
I try.
the videos that I've watched.
I do try. Look, I said to Carolyn this morning, why is he coming? I said to Carolyn, why is this man coming? Because we didn't know him. She said, well, he's a fan. I said, he's not much of a fan if he's asking these questions. He's obviously not read my books. Just saying. Let's have another question, Carolyn, shall we?
All right.
You can see we're having a good time on this sofa, I hope.
Jordanos asks.
Oh, sorry, what?
Jordanos.
Jordanos. I hope we're pronouncing that correctly. And good morning.
Rosemary, how can I open my third eye?
Oh, you need lessons. I can't tell you that. It would be so. We just talked about responsibility, and now you want me to show you that, and you can't open your chat. That, you know, we have 7 main chakra points. You have to learn how to do it, but you have to learn how to do it gently, sensitively. This is why we're doing our meditation in our online courses. Right now, we are starting to learn about 2 of the main 7 chakra points. But my students are in such a hurry. I'm afraid I'm going to be mean tonight. I'm not really going to be mean to you, but I have to rein you in a little bit because some of you are galloping along a little too fast, or you're disappointed because it's not working always the way you want it to work. You can't teach. If I were to tell, oh, I'll do this and this and this, I would sound amazing, wouldn't I? But I'm not going to, because we just talked about the responsibility and Murray brought it up. I'm not going to teach you something that could land you in trouble.
One step at a time.
Thank you. One small step at a time. Baby steps. Carolyn, yes.
Lori says,
Good morning. Oh, we've spoken to Lori.
Yes,
Yes.
she says, made me smile big, big, big this morning to see Murray here today. A little piece of home. And to top it off, in the middle of this, she just received a message from her doctor that her second CAT scan results are clear and she's perfectly good. So she's having a wonderful day. Wanted to share that with us.
Yes. Now, I just want to say, Laurie, I know that there are some difficulties at home, but baby steps, one step at a time. Enjoy the moment. It is the journey. So, you know, be heartened by that. And I'm thrilled for you. So good job. Well done, darling.
Martha would like to know,
Good morning, Martha.
does a rosary carry an energy?
Most things carry an energy. I've held rosaries that I felt a tremendous amount of energy from, and I felt rosaries that have nothing. It depends. Jewelry and everybody's going to gasp. A rosary isn't jewelry, but jewelry or items that we have on us all the time or that we hold all the time, they absorb our energy. And there's a little thing called psychometry, which I'm going to be teaching my online students. Yay! Just imagine, we're going to be learning all these things. But psychometry is when you hold an object and you sense or you connect with the energy of that object. And there's much more to it than that, just so you know. But give me something. You haven't not got anything, have you?
It's got that stone, yeah.
Oh, let's have it then.
I don't know if I can get it off.
Oh, well, don't worry. Give it to, don't worry. Don't take
You
it
can
off.
just-
I'm going to just hold it.
Okay.
Okay. So this is what you do. Now, first of all, you have to ask, especially when you're first doing this. See, I always cheat. It's not my fault that your sister's now thinking, oh, good, I can talk again. But you have to make sure that whatever you're doing, when you're doing psychometry, that this is not a second-hand piece. It didn't belong to somebody else. Or if it did, it belonged to somebody very close to you. It might be a family heirloom or something like that, right? So you hold it and you just absorb the energy. And that's all I'm going to tell you, because I'm not going to teach you psychometry on this YouTube channel either. We might have a go at it at some point. Maybe we'll do that one week. We'll let you know when I'm going to show you how to do psychometry. I cheat because this is what happens for me. I'm holding this, and as I'm tuning in, you know what's happening, don't you? His sister's like, oh, goody, goody, she's opening up. I can say something more. And I think this did belong to somebody else. Is that right?
Yeah.
And she's laughing. So
My sister is laughing.
she's laughing when we're talking about this belonging to somebody else. She's laughing. I think it belonged to her or connected in some way with her, or someone very close, very, very close to you. And it's like, this is a family thing. It's not a good thing to do this if you're just beginning, because you'll get lots of different people's energy, because I think you might be the third person to own this.
Oh, could be.
So you get all sorts of different conflicting energy. But anyway, that's core psychometry, absorbing the energy of something, but his sister keeps interfering. But one day I think what we'll do is I think this is what we'll do, right? I think we'll get someone on the sofa. We'll take something off of them, a wedding ring or a bracelet they wear all the time, or it always works with jewelry much better because for some reason it absorbs the energy easier. I don't know why that is. But if you've got a penny in your pocket and it's something you always carry because it's a good luck penny and you hold it all the time, or you know, sort of continually touching it or whatever, it's important to you, you can do it from there. It's the energy that it has absorbed from the person who's wearing it. So if you can tune into that energy, you can tell all sorts of things about that person. See, it's not the same as communicating with the spirit world. Psychometry is a whole different thing. But when I do it, I not only tune in with a bit of jewelry, but I'm listening to what they say, which is why I say I cheat. It's hard for me to do pure psychometry. But I do teach my students something for them to look forward to. Woohoo! Another thing for them to look forward to. Let's have another question.
Actually, it's a question for me.
You're not entitled to ask a question. Karen gets to ask questions all the time.
It's a question.
She's
by
here
my
all the
mother-in-law.
time.
Carol is just beaming right now.
Yes.
My mother-in-law a couple of days ago very sheepishly asked me, so I've been dreaming and my mother and my sister are trying to tell me something in my dreams and they don't normally come to her, she said, but I can't hear them and I can't understand them.
But I do. I know
So
exactly.
What does
And
it
I will
mean?
talk to you about it later.
So, but her question was, every single time she dreams of them, is it for a message or are they just, you know,
Sometimes
saying
when we she's not dreaming of them actually. She's connecting with them in her sleep state. There is a massive difference. There's a huge difference. When people come to us in our sleep state, it's when we are in our most relaxed and most easy, and we see them easier because we're not fighting it. There's not all sorts of other stuff going on. We don't have our computers on. We don't have the TV blaring away. We're not playing our ukulele or whatever it is. We're sort of, you know, we're sort of in that nice, easy sleep state where, you know, we are sort of, our consciousness is nice here. They can get in and they can connect with us and tune in with us nice and easily. And sometimes it's just to say hello. Sometimes it's to let us know that they're okay. Very often it is that they have something that they want to tell us or something that they're concerned about, or maybe they want to just warn us a little bit about something. And there is something going on in your mother, and you brought this up. So I'm going to say there is something going on in your mother-in-law's life right now that they would very much like to help with. So we can talk about that later.
Thank you.
And do you want another question? I'll let you think about it because then we're coming back to you. Let's have another question, Carolyn.
All right, Chris had a question. Let me get back to it. She would like to know,
Good morning, Chris.
what is the veil or window made of between the physical world and the world of souls?
Well, it's a simple answer. It's your energy, which is blocking. There is no veil. There is no window. I just use the window as a metaphor. There is nothing that separates us. People talk about this veil as if it's some physical thing that separates the two worlds. What's separating the two worlds is our thoughts. We can't do it, so therefore we won't do it. Power words, can't, doesn't exist, won't, not able to, whatever that negativity is, we feel that there's a separateness. And for many, many years, mediums have used the term veil because it is sometimes when you're first learning to see, when you're first learning to communicate, if you're not a natural born medium and you're learning to do this, it is a little bit like there's a mist or a veil of some kind, but that has nothing to do with an actual veil or a separation or a window. It has to do with the fact that you feel you're blocking yourself. You are blocking the ability to see. All you have to do is punch a hole through there. We're going to be doing that as well in our lessons. We're going to be punching holes through the, you know, smashing windows that aren't really there, but I'm going to show you how we can break through that non-existent veil. which enables us to look beyond our ordinary vision or to hear beyond our ordinary hearing. What do you say to that?
I think it's awesome. I have one more thing to say,
Oh, please.
if there's time.
Yeah.
And that is that you are exactly like I would have imagined you to be after reading books many, many years ago.
Is that good or not good?
It's good, yes. It's excellent. It's,
Oh, you said I didn't age a bit, did I?
still 13.
He says, I said, you can work it out. He said, how old are you? I said, you can work it out if you think about it. He said, 13 plus. I said, how on earth did you get it so accurately? I mean, he's right, 13 plus. What can we say? So, Murray.
Oh, she's got asked me a
Do you,
question.
no, yeah, well, I guess. So, can you tell everyone out there many who would be desperate to be sitting on this sofa? You do know that, right? Many who would give so much to be sitting on that sofa. Just write in the amount you're willing to pay. Sorry, I'm just kidding.
She can't help herself.
Can't help myself. I just can't help myself. But there are many people out there who would, give an awful lot to be where you are, just for 5 minutes. So what is it like for you to be here? I mean, what has this experience been like? If you tell other people when you leave here, you're gonna tell people what is it like to be here. What can you tell everybody out there? What has this experience been like for you?
Yes, it's really hard to describe because it's a feeling that's kind of in my gut that I feel really light and happy and enlightened, I guess. It's been really wonderful. It's been an experience, I'll have to say that.
Well, good. Can you describe the experience a little bit? Because you say it's an experience and they don't know what you mean, because is there any way to give them something so that they can relate in some way?
I don't know how to describe it really, other than it's a feeling of positiveness, of goodness. I feel goodness coming out all around, and especially from you, coming through you, and positivity, and it just makes me feel wonderful inside. It makes me feel up.
Good. So there you have it. We invite anybody who would like to come and sit on this sofa at any time. You just have to give us a little bit of notice, because I don't even know why you have to give us notice.
We're only live on Thursdays.
So. We're only live on Thursdays. You can't just come any day. I'm not available any day. So if you wanted to sit on my sofa, I'd have to get to know you really well. If it turned into dinner, it's not going to turn into anything, Murray, today because of the puppy. But there we have it. But there'll be another time. I think you'll come another time if you'd like to come another time.
Sure.
Or maybe you'll come on our Everything is Attitude show, and I'll feed you. Oh. I'll even give him dinner because he seems to be nice enough. I did have a word. I did say to Carolyn, if he turns out to be an axe murderer, I'm going to give you.
We had a code word.
We've got a code word. I gave her the code word, and I said, just don't hesitate. Go out of the room and call 911. That's for those of you abroad. 911 means 999, or anyway, it's the police. Get yourselves over here pretty quick. I've thoroughly enjoyed. It's been a real pleasure, Murray, to meet you, and I've thoroughly enjoyed you coming and sitting on our sofa today. Thank you, all of you out there, for your questions. I know there are lots more, but there it is. It's been a funny day. Cachorro has now collapsed on the floor and is hopefully sleeping. Again, although he looks brilliant, he is not 100%. He's still got his stitches in, and he's still in some pain. I dosed him up well and truly this morning with his pain meds and so on. So please keep the healing coming. You can, if you want to know any more about us, you have any questions, you want to know anything about how do you get a consultation, how do you talk to me, email me, Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com, and Carolyn will let you know what you have to do and how you have to do it. if you are interested in our Encore online classes, again, if you can either email us at the office and we'll forward your email, or you can email, what is it?
Info at everything.
Info. It's called info. Sorry, this is the email. info@everythingisattitude.com. We've just started the lessons, so come and join. It's month to month. And I think the students are having fun. Laurie's here and Nettie's here. And so we know that you're still talking to me. You might not be talking to me after tonight, Madge, because I'm going to be a bit tough with you today. But anyway, so if you want to know more about the books that we're doing, the cookbook is well and truly out now. I gave my one and only copy away. I have to get another one ordered. And but if you want to know more about that or any of my other books, again, email us, rosemary@rosemaryaLtea.com. I will be live tomorrow night between 6, it's from 6 to 7. Yes, it's from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock on Everything is Attitude. I've lost the plot. And I shall be live with my students tonight at 9 o'clock. So be prepared. And until we see you again.
Share this video and subscribe.
Yes, please share this video, and please, 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 would you subscribe, because it really helps us. And the more you subscribe, the more people we can reach. I don't know how that works, but that's the way of it. And also the more that we can do. And yes, I did promise today I will be showing you somewhat how to do psychometry. So wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. I might even want, I think we should start and do 1 or 2 little bits. Maybe we'll do the pendulum as well. That's another fun one to do. Keep watching. And again, share, please. Share, share, share. And subscribe. And until I see you again, whenever it is, whether it's tonight, whether it's tomorrow night, whether it's next week, or whenever it is, please, please, please have a very, very blessed day. I want to say thank you to Murray, thank you to Carolyn, thank you to Grey Eagle. You want to say any more? This is your final shot.
Thank you again for having me.
So please, 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 everybody, have a very, very, very blessed day.